The Smashing Machine is about the career of MMA pioneer Mark Kerr, who in the movie is played by Dwayne Johnson. What's really good about the film, and one of the very, very, very few redeeming factors, is Dwayne actually gives a really good performance. Yes, Dwayne has been a movie star for well over 20 years. And, left, right, and center, he's doing all these blockbusters. He's doing all these major franchise films. And, he's gotten a lot of flack for essentially playing just regular iterations of himself. Like, he wears the greenish, grayish shirt, and he's in the jungle and stuff like that. And he's not doing actual character pieces that can really showcase his talents as an actor. The very first thing that I saw Dwayne do, where I thought that was a really good actual performance, was when he did Gridiron Gang, the football movie. So here we are all these years later, and Dwayne finally does something where he's better than he was in Gridiron Gang. Something where he wears some makeup, some prosthetics, enough where you don't, where at first glance, you don't really know that it's really Dwayne. At first glance, this also looked like it could have earned him an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. Watching the film, you can really tell that Dwayne is giving it his all to really give the performance of a lifetime. But unfortunately, the movie itself is really not good. I hate to say it. So Mark Kerr was an MMA guy, and he had a big addiction to opioids and other substances. He really wants to really sustain his spot as being like the best mixed martial artist in the world. While he's injecting all these things into himself, taking all these pills, it's really taking a toll on his relationships. But at what cost? When is he going to say enough is enough? So, written on paper, that does sound quite good. Films about drug addiction often do hit really hard. I knew that this movie wasn't going to be as powerful as something like Traffic or The Basketball Diaries, but whatever. Those bars are a little too high for just thinking anything can be near as great as those. But whatever, I was still expecting The Smashing Machine to be just effective enough where I could be like, you know what, that was a really good film. I really like that. When in reality, this movie is very, very hollow and very underwritten. Mark's love in the movie, her name is Dawn. She's played by Emily Blunt. The chemistry between the two of them is non-existent. Like, whenever Mark and Dawn have some sort of argument, it's really not well done. I mean, like, the way that they speak to each other, like in like a passive sort of tone, it's like and it's like it was not well done. The acting in those scenes, they were just not well done at all. They tried to get some things out of the Dawn character, like she loves Mark and she wants to see him succeed, but at the same time she doesn't want to see him abuse all these things and really throw his life away. That's fine. We do get some of that, but I was expecting so much more out of her, so much more out of him as well. And the fact that it's a film about drug addiction, all we get is just that generic drugs are bad, and that's it. There's like maybe a couple of bits where we see some sort of repercussions, some sort of ramification, but it's just very run-of-the-mill when all that stuff ends up happening. And when we see the actual, some of the fight scenes in the film, even some of those things really aren't that exciting. I mean, there's a couple of times where they actually are, but when you look at the climactic fights in this, those are not, well, those aren't really all that good either. The way that the movie was unfolding and the way that it all came together in such very shallow, very non-special ways, it really let me down. The movie needed to do a lot more in developing who these characters were and the overall intensity of Mark's drug addictions, and also have the fights be really powerful and really hard-hitting, which they sadly aren't. But frankly, nobody can really deny the good performance that Dwayne ended up giving. I just hope that he gets more offers to do more fully dramatic things. Frankly, if it means him doing less high-concept explosion films, fine, so be it. If it means him playing The Rock in WWE less often, fine, so be it. I do think it'll all pay off, because this movie just did nothing. I want to give The Smashing Machine from 2025 2 stars out of 4.